Welcome back to the Matt Report. Happy New Year. Bunch of things I want to talk about. Bunch of things on the mind, basically is what I was going to say. Lots of things to cover here, and I'm just going to go one by one as they pop into the old noggin. Number one, have a new course coming to the WP Minute. That'll be out hopefully next week by the time you're listening to this. And it's all about pricing and scoping WordPress projects. It's going to be a free course, just like our hosting course, completely free, thanks to our pillar sponsors. And this covers scoping a WordPress project from the requirements. What does it take to plan a WordPress project? As a client hiring an agency, like how do you pick the right agency to do that? As an agency owner, how do you think about, communicating these different deliverables and scoping that project? It's a fun one, and it's taught by Eric Kovac again. He's got 30 years in web development under his belt, and it's going to be great for the beginners out there, for the beginner freelancer agency to be thinking, okay, how do I scope projects, and what can I pull from this? It'd also be great for a freelancer or agency to point their customers to. So if the customer is like, geez, I didn't realize I either had to spend this, or I needed these requirements, or maybe they're so early on in what they need, you want to give them something where they can go through a course, a nice professionally designed course, to understand what they have to give you for project requirements. It could be great for them as well, like clients getting started with WordPress. Like they're ready to make that leap. How do they come to you with a professional approach and all the requirements needed? So look for that at the wpminute.com/courses. Launching in about a week. Make sure you're on the newsletter so you can, when it's available. The wpminute.com/subscribe. Speaking of the WP Minute, I want to roll out an accountability program for those of you who are freelancers and agency owners. You're kicking off the year, or we're almost at the end of January, and you're like, I got to work on getting more clients, got to work on the agency business, not just the projects. I want to do a 6-week cohort program for folks who are looking for that sort of like accountability check-in, get your head right, get you in a room with other people, just get ideas down, a group of people that can help hear you out and understand what your challenges are. Maybe they have the same ones, they can offer advice. But we do this like sort of check-in program for about a month and a half, just to get that muscle going. I know sometimes for me, like stretching this stuff out and getting into a rhythm is very important to any new task or any new responsibility. And I'll link how you can apply for that where you're listening to this podcast. What's up, buddy? Welcome home from school. And next up, I want to talk about opportunity in WordPress. Really been critically thinking about, again, like we're launching the courses at WP Minute. I want to get this cohort program off the ground with a few trial folks, and really thinking about where that opportunity lies for WordPress in this AI hyper-competitive age. AI notwithstanding, like just being super competitive. There's a lot of us out there building sites, and how do we separate ourselves from that noise, and how do we look for, great business practices, and on the technical side, like what's really working here. And I think we're going to see, we're already starting to see it, but starting to see that renewed sort of marketing initiative life inside of WooCommerce. So I think if you were literally starting out from scratch today or hitting the reset button on your WordPress agency or freelance business, if it were me, I would be squarely looking at where you can make inroads with WooCommerce. This goes to a sort of broader trend, which I think we'll see is these SaaS-based companies like a Shopify, like a Webflow, like a Wix, they might be the first ones to feel the real impact of AI and folks saying like, oh, we could, either the price of their services going up because they decided to embed and fully like take on AI stuff. I think the cost of AI is going to go up dramatically this year. And these companies that are, licensing out AI or integrating it into the core of their product are going to get hit with that AI tax. So I think we'll see prices go up and naturally like them raising prices because they need to be more profitable and more sustainable in a competitive world. And I think like we'll see a lot of folks go, you know what, the Shopify thing, like now that we have AI, like agents and we want to customize our site, oh, maybe Shopify is just not letting us do it as smoothly as if we were running on WordPress or WooCommerce. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, I get it. And I'm just theorizing here, but I think that we'll see the first big opportunity in WordPress for 2026 is going to be more WooCommerce, whatever that means. That could be integrating it into, brands that already have websites on other content management systems or doing a full-on like WordPress, WooCommerce combo deal. But I think that's where we're headed. Is we're looking at WooCommerce this year as the biggest opportunity. That's my sort of theory there. And then still obviously opportunities with WordPress for sure, especially in headless, especially alongside of like what's happening with AI. I think the opportunity there is for folks to really double down on what it is that they offer. Like what turnkey solution is you and your team really good at executing? And how can you be a more integral partner, strategy partner with your customer, right? Because they're not going to hire you just for the design anymore, or even just for the custom plugin development, because we've seen how far Claude Code and Telix and all these other solutions are really good at making, simple plugins. Obviously, the more complex ones, there's still a need there, but the engineering time, is shrinking, and it's your opportunity is going to be like, what else can I do as a partner? More critical human thinking, which is, I don't know, I think it's kind of a good thing. It's like less about like, okay, how do I get more how do I hire more developers to get more code out the door? Or it's now is like, how can I hire more people that are critical thinkers for these industries that I serve and support? And then how do we, aid that customer? Now, of course, this is me thinking of like, if AI is sticking around and it is improving like it's supposed to be, then maybe pushing out the basic code and maybe wireframing and quoting and brainstorming. I'm not saying like the last mile of this creative work is all done by AI, but if it's boosted and there's humans on the other end to like carry it through and edit it and curate it, well, maybe where agencies are looking a lot different 5 years from now. As somebody who constantly uses AI to build plugins and software and experiments and MVPs and other creative things, yeah, it's fun, it's fast, it's powerful, but it's not all the way there yet. And I think what the biggest reckoning will be the costs. Like we're going to see, and I talked about this in a previous episode, like we'll see those costs double easily this year. I mean, you're going to see your Claude Code Max plan go to $400 a month, right? And then maybe a Max Turbo go to like $2,000 a month. Like we're going to see these costs dramatically rise for the end user. And same thing, like if you're a Shopify or some other company that's integrated these frontier models, like your costs are going to go up and you're going to pass that cost on to your consumer. And that's what's really going to make them pause for a moment and go, like, do I need to pay for your product with AI when maybe I can just get AI and turn to something like WordPress and have AI build the thing I need? I don't know. It's an interesting space, but I think that's really where we're going to see those two opportunities for WordPress. Just to recap: one, WooCommerce, stores coming online, other things that people want to buy coming online using WooCommerce, those leaving the bigger SaaS platforms coming into WooCommerce, and then critically thinking about reshaping your partnership with brands as an agency owner. Those are the big things for me. So as I sort of rounded out, really thinking about how WordPress evolves in the AI landscape is sort of top of mind right now. Again, cautiously optimistic still. I don't want to just give into this and be like, oh yeah, like this is the best. Like certainly AI, I don't want to be one of those people, like if you're not adopting AI, you're going to lose, because I still don't trust the economics of what I'm seeing across these big brands who just want to own it and want to own all of it. And, I see this sort of like controlled iteration happening where, again, I've talked about this before, like here's now point versions of ChatGPT that roll out. And now they're going to do ads. And I'm just like, well, we haven't really got to this super computing thing that can solve all things, because it's still not right. I'm actually working on my podcast plugin using Claude Code, and I'm trying to get it ready for a live stream that I'll be doing with this guy, Matt Cromwell. And I don't even have time. It's such a side project that I don't even have time for me putting together a WordPress site. And even like thinking, like using a WordPress site and then like doing all the things I can do with it, and just like spending all that overhead as well. So I was just like, hey, Claude, make me a static HTML site for the podcast plugin, which I'm going to upload to Cloudflare. And it put it together, and it was okay. Like it was your typical like Tailwind driven SaaS looking website. It wasn't knocking it out of the park. And I wasn't really prompting it to either. So there's that. I went back and forth on like some color changes. I didn't like the color changes that it had and all the gradients and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's fine for like this sort of like temporary landing page. But the point is like in the footer, you had the year 2024. And I'm just like, how did you put, like, how is this thing that I pay $200 a month for, and it's supposed to be the most powerful frontier coding model in existence? How did you not check the time? I don't understand. So like, that's just a small thing, but you compound that over larger, more technical problems. You're just like, well, if you got the footer wrong, what else are you getting wrong? Now, again, I spent a couple seconds, prompting this thing to make the website. Had I informed it different, like, yeah, okay, sure. But it's just, one of those anecdotal things that, this stuff isn't 100% yet. This is the first episode of 2026. Don't forget, if you want to join this accountability program, it's a 6-week. It will be paid. It'll be not a lot of money, but I do need to pay because I pay folks on the other end to do the things I need to do to get this thing going. It won't be a lot. We'll get everybody in a room 6 weeks, talk about the business, really push ourselves to understand like what the goals are for 2026. I'll link that up in the show notes where you're listening to this. It should be the wpminute.com/accountability-intake. It's a fantastic name. But the wpminute.com/accountability-intake.